Monday. Arrived at the Avon Wildlife Trust Centre, which is built in a Victorian police station. They store their kit in old police cells. Met Matt, who I'll be working with, and we loaded up the car and headed off to Folly Farm in North Somerset, where we were working in the polytunnel with adults with learning disabilities. We went down to the ponds to get some wildlife-rich pond water for them to look at and discover, and then we did some drawing with them in the afternoon. After that, Matt took me on a wildlife walk around the farm to see some nature. Then we went back to the office in the car, I caught the train home, and that was Monday. Tuesday morning, I headed into work. We drove to Easton Community Centre in the car to take a group of adults, some of whom had learning difficulties, on a walk up and down a section of the Bristol and Bath railway path, where we pointed out some nature to them. They found this really interesting. Next, we had lunch in Easton Community Centre, then went back to the head office of the Avon Wildlife Trust and unpacked. Then I spent the afternoon doing some research work for Matt on the computer. After that, I headed home through Bristol, and that was Tuesday. Wednesday, back on the train through Bristol to the Avon Wildlife Trust Centre, where we loaded up the car and went to Riverside Garden Centre. Matt pointed out some local wildlife, and we bought a couple of trees that were hard to fit in the car. After a quick tour of a project called Feed Bristol, we went to the Greenway Centre in Southmead, where we ran some activities for adults with learning disabilities. We left one of the trees there for them to use as a memorial tree. Then with Sarah and Matt, we planted a tree in the gardens, a pear tree. After that, I caught the train home, back to Stoke Gifford, and that was Wednesday. Thursday was quite quiet, travelled into work through Bristol, met a young pupils group called Tomorrow's People at their office in town, then did some stapling work in the office in the afternoon. On Friday, we took the Tomorrow's People group to the Asylum Seekers allotment in Easton, where we learnt how to render a fence of a shelter that was being built there with clay. We had to mix the clay with our feet, which was mucky but good fun, and then we slapped it onto the walls, where it would set to make a hard wall for the shelter. The group were a bit unwilling at first, but they got into it. Then that was it, the week was over, said goodbye to Matt and caught the train home for the last time, and that was my week.